Good day, good day, good day, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Sip with Rev Melissa. I am Rev Melissa, and SIP stands for Spirit in Practice because practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. So, as an introduction, I am Rev Melissa. I am an ordained interfaith minister, licensed religious science practitioner, certified spiritual life coach, and spiritual director, senior minister at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living. And all of that is my ministry of joy, where I support people in living life in joy, connected to their yes. So if you need support connecting to your yes, to your purpose, to your divine assignment, please reach out to me. You can send me a DM on social media and we can set up some time to talk. So let me say that today's show is pre-recorded. I'm pre-recording this at 10 o'clock, a half hour before I would normally go live. And the reason for that is because I have an appointment. So I'm recording now. So please still put in your comments. Please say good day to me. Please tell me where you're tuning in from. Please make comments to what I'm about to share with you for today's sip. So we are in a new series. We started a new series yesterday, and it is the story series. The story series was inspired by me recognizing and realizing that I was telling myself a story yesterday when I was feeling scattered. And I knew if I continued along that storyline, that I would wind up in the land of overwhelmed. And I don't go there. I'm like, we're not going there. So that opened up this whole idea of like, what stories are we telling ourselves? What stories are we telling ourselves? And let's become more consciously aware of the stories we are in so that we can change the plot line, right? We could change the plot. So yesterday I shared the story of the frog in a deep rut. So I love that story. If you missed it, please check out yesterday's replay. The frog in a deep rut. And basically, what stories do you tell yourself when you feel like you're in a rut? When you feel like you're in a hole and you can't get out? What stories are you telling yourself? Are they old stories? Or is this an opportunity for you to create a new story where you are the hero? Yes, where you are the hero. So I was looking at stories yesterday and today and to see what I wanted to share today. And I came upon, guess what, y'all? Another frog story. So I don't know, maybe frogs are my thing this week, but I want to share with you this frog story. One day, two frogs were hopping in and out of a watering hole and accidentally hopped into an extremely deep hole. They tried to leap out, but to no avail. They had no success. So they began to yell and croak until other frogs heard them and came to help. The other frogs looked over into the hole and said the hole was too deep for them to help. But both frogs kept leaping up to the sides of the hole. The other frogs, leaning over the hole and waving their front legs, began to yell to the frogs to give up and die, and that there was no hope of them getting out of the hole. But both the frogs kept leaping and trying to get out of the hole. They leaped for hours. I just lost my place. They leaped for hours, and one of the frogs gave up because he was so exhausted and he died. The other frog in the hole kept leaping, but the other frogs kept leaning over the hole, kept yelling and waving their front legs for him to stop and just give up. But the frog kept leaping, trying to get out of the hole. Finally, the frog leaped so high that to top, he was able to leap to the top of the hole and use his back legs to push himself up out of the hole. The other frog said, "Even though we told you to give up, that there was no hope of you getting out of the hole, you kept leaping." The frog that got out of the hole thanked the other frogs for edging him on. The other frogs didn't know that this frog was deaf. The frog was deaf, so he couldn't hear the other frogs telling him to give up. He thought that he was just going by their gestures, right? Them waving their front legs, right? And their gestures. He interpreted it as them cheering him on, as them encouraging him, because he couldn't hear them saying, give up, right? The other frog heard them say, give up, you're never going to get out of there. And eventually he gave up and that frog died. But this frog could not hear what they were saying. And he had a different listening that was happening within him. So I love that story, right? Sometimes we have to turn a deaf ear. Oh, come on now, somebody. We have to turn a deaf ear to what others are saying to us about what we can and cannot do. I immediately think about Sekou, right? And the marathon. Because there are a lot of people saying he can't do it or he shouldn't do it, right? And he turned a deaf ear to all of that. Yes, of course, everyone was concerned, and so were the frogs. Those frogs were concerned about their friends being in the hole, but the hole was too deep and they could not see those frogs getting out of that deep hole. But we have to see through other eyes. We have to see beyond the appearance of things. Yes? And we have to be clear about what we are listening to. Are you listening to that inner knowing, that inner wisdom, your inner hero, your inner cheerleader, your inner champion, your inner spirit, your higher self, your intuition that is telling you keep leaping? You can get out of this. Or are you listening to the world? Are you listening to the news? Are you listening to the pessimists and the people who are always in the I can't? It's impossible. No one has ever done that before. Right? So it's an invitation for us to turn within, right? To heighten our other senses, because they say when you don't have one of your senses, that all the other senses get heightened. So for that frog who was deaf, his other senses were heightened, including our sense of intuition, our higher sense, right? Looking through our third eye, seeing the world from the perspective of a higher sense of what's going on. Not getting caught up in the story, the regular, mundane story, and believing in ourselves and knowing that we have the legs for it. Yes, we have the legs to leap from where we are to where we are desiring to go, towards more of who we already are, towards the remembering of who we are. Ah, Thank you, frogs. Thank you, frogs, for these lessons. So we're just building questions because I love questions. And these are questions that we can use in our inspirational journaling. So, what story am I telling myself about whatever you're going through right now? If you're going through a hard time right now, what story are you telling yourself about it? Are you willing, just willing, to change the storyline? Just willing to see it from a higher perspective. And in today's story, what am I listening to? What are you listening to? Are you listening to an old story? Or are you listening to God, to love, to life itself, that is always seeking to expand and express more of itself through you and as you, through the quality that you are? Remember, we always are centered and grounded in our quality that we have embodied for 2022. Have you forgotten? I might do a quality roll call tomorrow, right? So what am I listening to? Am I listening to the quality of curiosity, which is one of my qualities? Am I listening through the quality of joy that I am? What are you listening to? And where am I listening from? Where am I listening from? What am I listening to? And where am I listening from? Am I listening from the past? Am I listening from right here, right now? All right, y'all. So that is the story of the deaf frog. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that. It is time for us to go into some joy news. So, joy news, y'all. This weekend, we have a full weekend with Living Life in Joy. Please check it out. My interview is with Fee King. So please check out the second interview with Fee King and Sekou Wrights. It was a great time with the both of them, sharing about, Marathon Sunday, sharing about life and our joys and our work and what we're here to do. So please check that out Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then right after that, we have Sunday in Praise, where I am the spiritual director at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living. Our topic this Sunday is roots and wings. Roots and wings. And I am so excited about this topic. It is all in our theme of home. So go to Rockland CSL, click Sunday service, be with us on Zoom, or you can watch the live stream on Facebook. Please save the date. Our next meditation with the moon is December 7th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then lastly, I just want to remind everyone that the link, Give Me the Win, is still active. If you would like to give to the charity that Sekou is supporting, it was his effort to beat or set a new Guinness World Record for the most money raised during the marathon, and his goal was $25,000. He raised $13,000 in less than 7 hours, which is extraordinary, extraordinary. And he decided to keep the link active because he wants to be able to meet the goal of $25,000 to Transformation Life Center. So if you feel so moved, please go to givemethewin.com. I'm going to keep this going all week. My marathon hat reminds me we're still in that vibration. Givemethewin.com. All right. All right, y'all. I think that's all that I needed to share today in Joy News. Please join me tomorrow. I will be back live Today was pre-recorded due to an appointment that I have. I appreciate all your comments, all the shout outs, all the love. So be good to yourself and listen. What story am I listening to? Where am I listening from? Ask yourself that question throughout the day and just check in. Let's do a check in. Okay? All right, y'all. All right. So, peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and justice. We're living life in joy. Yes, we are. Connected to our yes.